was so that he could buy that firearm. And that is a danger that is directly against the affirmative finding of family violence. And that presents himself to be a danger to this community.
The way he moved around was kind of jittery. I've been selling guns for about 5 years now. So there's just little things like that that, you kind of pick up.
Welcome to Bench Report Court Cam.
All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 009473 State versus Millard Cummings. Mr. Cummings, if you'll come down. Could I have parties announced for the record? State.
Ashley Jones.
Raymond Martinez for Mr. Cummings.
And are you Mr. Cummings? All right. I have two witnesses on the Zoom. If you both could unmute, please, and raise your right hand for me. I'm just going to go ahead and swear each of you in. And the first person I'm going to swear in is CSO Parker. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that any testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. And then the next person is Robert Cooney. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that any testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. So defense counsel is asking that the rule be invoked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in the waiting room. While you're in the waiting room, you're not allowed to view anything in regards to this case. Does everyone understand?
Yep.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so I'll put you in a waiting room. I'm sorry. Yes.
I do think we're going to call Mr. Cooney first.
All right. All right, before we call Mr. Cooney, Mr. Cummings, did you have a chance to review the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision with your attorney? And did you understand it?
Interesting.
All right, you've had a chance to review that with your attorney? Mr. Cummings, have you had a chance to review?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Are you saying Millard Darrell Cummings, who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2024 CR 009473 for the offense of assault, family, household, impeding breath or circulation on February 4th, 2025 for a period of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes.
All right. State, which violations are you proceeding on?
We are proceeding on all of them, Your Honor. Would you like me to read them all out?
Mr. Cummings, are you aware of all of the violations?
Sorry,
the motion-
before he goes forward, was it reduced to a misdemeanor or not?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And so what ended up happening, it was reduced to a misdemeanor. And the last time we were here, the state did an oral amendment to the deferred adjudication to proceed on an assault causing bodily injury family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that was my mistake. All right. So you are the person who's placed on deferred adjudication for assault causing bodily injury or family. Is that you?
Yes.
And you were placed on deferred adjudication for a period of 2 years on February 4th, 2025. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And then with violations, State, you said you're proceeding on all of the violations?
And yes, Your Honor, I did misspeak. We are not going to proceed on violation condition number 26. That would be proceeding on all of the others.
All right. So with regards to violation of condition number 2, how do you plead to that, true or not true?
Not true.
To violation of condition number 12, how do you plead to that, true or not true?
Not true.
To violation of condition number 21, how do you plead, true or not true?
Not true.
And to violation of condition number 22, how do you plead, true or not true?
Not true.
All right, State, oh, I'm sorry, and to violation of condition number 23, how do you plead, true or not true?
Not true.
All right, State, you may proceed.
Thank you. State with Robert Cooney.
All right, Mr. Cooney, can you raise your right hand for me, please? I'm sorry, you've already been sworn in. State your name for the record.
Robert Cooney.
All right, State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Cooney, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, and can you please let the court know where you are employed?
Academy, sports and outdoors.
And do you know the address of that academy?
Um, to be honest with you, off the top of my head, I do not know it off the top of my head.
That's okay. Is it located in San Antonio, Texas?
Yes, right off of Perrin Vital.
And so that would still be Bear County?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and at that academy, what position do you hold?
I'm a firearms associate.
And what does that mean?
I handle and sell firearms.
And to sell firearms, do you have to run a background check?
Yes.
Okay, and would you run a background check without somebody wanting to buy a firearm?
No. They would have to come to us and tell us specifically that they want to buy a firearm.
And speaking to that, on April 10th of 2025, did an individual come to you wanting to buy a firearm?
Yes.
What was that individual's name?
Mr. Cummings. I off the top of my head, I can't remember the first name.
And do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Okay, and can you point him out by an article of his clothing?
Orange jumpsuit.
The record could reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. All right, and can you tell us about the first interaction you had with Mr. Cummings?
The first interaction was actually probably about 2 or 3 weeks beforehand. It was not even on that the day of April 10th.
Where was this interaction? Where did this interaction occur?
At the store at the academy. He had come in. I don't remember what time of day it was. Um, but he had come in, um, saying that he wanted to buy a firearm. I proceeded to ask the usual questions: what firearm, you know, if he had a Texas ID, um, what the gun would be used for, if it's going to be for home defense or concealed carry or anything like that. He had already had a gun picked out. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, and that's what did he answer those questions?
Uh, he answered it kind of, I would say, half answered them. Um, he was not very straightforward for the most part, other than he already knew exactly what firearm he wanted. That was the one thing that he was pretty straightforward about, was he already had a firearm in mind that he wanted to purchase.
Do you recall that type of firearm that he wanted to purchase?
Yeah, it was a Ruger LCP 380.
And for those of us not familiar with guns, what type of gun is that?
It's a pistol.
Okay, how many rounds does it hold?
About six, I want to say 6 or 7.
And on this occasion, did he present an ID to you?
He did have a format of ID, just not a ID that I was familiar with myself.
What type of format of ID did he have?
It was some type of county ID, Bear County Correctional or something of that matter. Like I said, it was not a ID that I was familiar with myself.
And after presenting you that ID, what next steps did you take?
Well, since I wasn't familiar with the ID, I did try asking him what kind of ID it was. I noticed that it said county correctional. I'm not from Texas myself. I just got here a few months ago, so I was questioning it. I asked him if it was for, if he was an employee, like a correctional facility employee or anything like that. He didn't really answer that question. Um, at that point, I started calling my manager out. He came out. He himself was not familiar with the ID either. At that point, he kind of took over, started asking him, pretty much the same questions that I was. What kind of ID is it? Um, stuff along that line.
And ultimately, on that day, did he purchase a firearm?
No.
And when he left, what would you say his demeanor was?
I would say definitely seemed, a little irritated, a little confused. Um, he had at some point in the interaction, he had told us that he had been released from jail. Um, he, yeah, he said he had been released from jail. Um, didn't really give us a time frame, but it had been within a few months from what it seemed like, because he said that was the only ID he had at the time. And like I said, when he was leaving, he was pretty confused, pretty irritated because we told him that he wouldn't be able to sell a gun or be able to purchase a gun. So he was pretty irritated, pretty confused on why we wanted to sell him one.
And moving on to the next interaction you had with him, on what date was that?
That would be the April 10th,
Of what year?
2025.
And would this still be at the Academy on Parent Vital?
Yes.
And during that interaction on April 10th, what was that interaction like?
He came in. Again, he was pretty straightforward about which firearm he wanted to buy. Um, According to Academy's, I guess you would say, their regulations, when we have a customer come in that, we're unsure about, they do want us to proceed with the interaction as we would with any other customer. So he came in, he wanted to purchase, he knew what he wanted. At that time, I am pretty sure that he presented a change of address form from the DPS, and I proceeded as normal, starting off with, showing him the firearm and starting to get his stuff into the computer system.
And what firearm did he want to purchase this time?
It was still the same firearm.
Okay. And what questions were asked of him on April 10th regarding his purchase of that firearm?
Pretty much the same things, his about his ID, what ID he had, which again would have been a change of address form from DPS. Um, and pretty much the same thing, what is this firearm gonna be used for, anything like that. Which again he didn't really clarify. Um, but this interaction was a lot shorter, because again he came in, he had the correct identification, but he still had kind of the same demeanor that he had the first time, just kind of, you know, I wouldn't say odd, but just off. It wasn't like the usual interaction with the customer.
And you had mentioned that you showed him the firearm. Can you tell us
Mhm.
about that?
So, clearing the weapon, taking it out of the box, clearing the weapon, making sure it's unloaded, um, handing it over so that way he can, physically and visually check the firearm. He hands it back. Uh, I put it back in the box. We go over the serial number, confirming that everything on it is matching on the firearm and the box. And then, like I said, getting him put into the computer system.
And after you get him put into the computer system, what next steps or how did this interaction go after that?
So once I enter his basic info into the system, at that point, that is when he is handed the iPad that we use, and he himself begins the actual 4473 background check.
And after he completes everything in the iPad, I'm assuming he hands it back to you. How long does it take to get that background check back?
It can be hit or miss, but generally it is within 5 to 10 minutes. On for his, I do not remember particularly how long it would have. I don't remember how long it took to get his back.
Can you tell me how the interaction with him on April 10th ended?
Um, I do not remember exactly how it ended. I cannot recall if it came back denied while I was on shift or if it came back later that day. So I wouldn't really be able to tell you other than his I guess you say his mannerisms still just kind of seemed off to me.
And what seemed off?
Just the way he talked, the way he moved around was kind of jittery. I've been selling guns for about 5 years now. So there's just little things like that that, you know, you kind of pick up with somebody that when they're buying a gun.
And to your knowledge, was he successful in actually purchasing the firearm?
He was not.
But again, to your knowledge, since you were the employee handling this, did he ask you to buy a weapon?
He did.
Did he complete paperwork to buy that weapon?
Yes.
And did he handle the weapon that he wanted to buy?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, defense.
I'm sorry, sir. Could you pronounce your name again for me?
Cooney, Robert Cooney.
I'm sorry, the B's throwing me off. So, Mr. Cooney, is there a way that a person can get a background check other than going through the process you just described?
No, there's not.
So if a person wants to know whether they're going to be approved, they got to go through all the steps you just outlined.
Yes.
Because you don't let them go to the final step to do that application process until you've selected a firearm and basically done all the precursors for purchasing a gun, right?
Yep.
But no money ever changed hands in this situation, correct?
There was no money. No.
And matter of fact, you don't even ring them up in the register until the background check is done, correct?
Yep.
So if a person wanted to get an answer to the question whether they qualified to get a gun or not, they would follow the same procedure you just outlined.
Yes.
And if the person comes back, whether he's approved or not approved, at that point, he can decide to complete the transaction or not complete the transaction.
If he is not approved for the firearm, then he has no choice in the matter. He would not be able to, you know, purchase if he did not get approved.
Understood. But even if he was approved, he's not obligated to buy anything at that point.
That's correct. He would not be obligated to.
And in fact, you would have taken no deposit or a card or cash or anything at that point.
Yep.
So you're assuming he's attempting to buy the gun because he wants to go through this process, when in fact it could be that he just wants to see whether he's going to get approved or not.
Yeah.
No, that'll be overruled. I understand the objection.
That's all I have, Judge.
All right, any further questions?
No further questions from the state, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused?
I think so.
Excuse from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much for coming in. You're excused.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you've already been sworn in. If you'll just state your name for the record, please.
CSO Parker.
All right, you may proceed.
Hello, Ms. Parker.
Hi.
Thank you for coming in today. I did want to talk to you about one of your probationees, Mr. Millard Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you point him out by an article of clothing?
He's wearing orange, top and bottom.
If the record reflects, Ms. Parker has identified the defendant. When did he come to be on your, when did you come to be his probation officer?
He was assigned to probation on February the 5th. February the 4th of 2025. And he was assigned to me on that date.
When was your first meeting with Mr. Cummings?
It was on March 14th of 2025.
And on that meeting, did you go over his conditions with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and would you go over all of his conditions?
Yes, ma'am. All of them.
Okay. And would that include drug testing and the BIP course, the TAP evaluation, and calling into the UA hotline to see if he is required to submit a drug test?
Yes, ma'am. We went over all his conditions, including what you just stated.
And so going to February 14th of I apologize, 2025, on that date or around that date, had the defendant completed his batterer's intervention and prevention program?
Do you mean March 14th?
Yes.
Okay. No, March 14th was our first visit. So on our first visit is when we went over everything that was that he signed and agreed to with his conditions. March 14th, he was given his copy of his conditions again and handouts of the classes and the parenting. So he had not completed anything by that date of March 14th.
And to this date, presently, has the defendant completed his batterer's intervention and prevention program course?
No, ma'am, not the one that he was ordered to complete. He completed a BIP class that was not approved. He took a class on his own online, but that's not one of the classes that is court approved through 187. So to date, no, ma'am, he has not completed the BIP, the required BIP course.
And what's the difference between the online course he took and the court approved BIP course?
Yes, ma'am. The one that I believe he took online, the one that he emailed me, is 20 hours. I want to say I have to look it up, but I want to say it was like a 20-hour course. I'm not too sure. Please don't quote me that. But the one that he is to take is in person and it's 20 sessions. So it usually takes maybe about 4 to 5 months to complete. But I do want to also mention he did go and register at one of the locations that was on that paper, but he refused to fill out the required documents there. So he was not signed up for that. And he just stated he did what was convenient for him. When I did speak to him in April, he just told me he did what was convenient. So
Yeah. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
yes, ma'am.
But what you're speaking about is the BIP course?
Yes, ma'am. I'm speaking about BIP. BIP only.
right.
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so moving on to the TAP evaluation.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
is he scheduled to take that?
The tab was for April the 9th of 2025.
And did he attend his TAP evaluation?
No, ma'am, he did not.
And have you spoken to him since that date?
Since April the 9th? Yes, ma'am. He had an office visit on April the 14th. The last time sorry, go ahead.
Did he provide a reason for not attending the TAP evaluation?
So I actually scheduled him to come see me that same day after his TAP. When I asked him about on the 14th, he didn't give a valid reason. He didn't say why he missed it or anything. He did not give me a reason on why he missed it.
And so talking about the UA line, can you tell us what that is?
It's what it is a line. He will be, it's called Sentry, the program. He's put into the system. He's given instructions on that he has to call this number every day, and it tells him the date and time that he has to call. And then when he calls, it will let him know if he needs to go take a drug test that day. So he has to call that every day.
And did he call every day that he was required to?
He did not call. No, ma'am, he did not call every day.
And did he call on March 17th of 2025?
Can I look at my notes?
Yes.
Okay. March 17th of 2025, he did not call.
On March 21st of 2025, did he call?
He did not call. March 21st, no, ma'am, he did not call.
On March 24th of 2025, did he call?
He did not call.
On March 28th of 2025, did he call?
He did not call.
On March 31st of 2025, did he call?
March 31st?
Yes.
No, ma'am, he did not call.
On April 4th of 2025, did he call?
No, ma'am, he did not call.
On April 7th, 2025, did he call?
No, ma'am.
On April 11th, 2025, did he call?
No, ma'am.
And on April 14th, 2025, did he call?
No, ma'am.
What about April 16th of 2025?
No, ma'am.
And was he ever required to submit to drug testing? Or to
So-
submit a drug test?
Sorry. So he is, so because he's on this UA line, it tells him when to drug test. So he wasn't, I didn't send him for a drug test because he's on this line to call. So by the time I saw him on April the 14th, once we discussed everything, I did not send him for a drug test. No, ma'am. Because he's on this UA line. So usually when they're on the UA line, they'll let them know when to take the drug test.
On March 19th, did it let him know to go take a drug test?
Yes, ma'am, it did. Sorry, let me confirm that. I'm sorry, March. My paper is a little small. Yes, ma'am, it instructed him on March the 19th to go take a drug test.
Did the defendant go and take a drug test on that date?
No, ma'am, he did not.
And on what date did you, I apologize, let me reach that. How would you describe Mr. Cummings as a probationee?
Mr. Cummings, our first visit, very polite. He was receptive to the information. He appeared to understand everything I gave him. He did have it appeared that he was upset about something that happened prior to probation. He kept trying to talk to me about something with Medicare and some rights being taken away. So he just appeared to be really angry about something that's happened prior to probation. So I had to rear him a lot to just focus on what's at hand, and I couldn't control what happened before. So he just appeared to have a lot of anger in him. It wasn't directly to me. I never felt, it was ever directed towards me. I just think it's just something in his past that was bothering him. But we only got to meet three times, April, or 2 times, excuse me, only got to meet. So we really haven't built a rapport, but in the couple of times I met him, he was always respectful. He was never disrespectful. He's just appears to have, trouble following the directives that was given to him.
Would he ever, how would you describe his punctuality?
He was always late, at least an hour or two late to his appointments. So he wasn't punctual for his appointments.
And for these violations that we've gone over today, would those have occurred here in Bexar County, Texas?
Yes, his violations, yes, ma'am, in Bexar County.
At this time, Your Honor, I will pass witness.
All right, defense.
So Ms. Parker, first question is how do you know whether or not he called into the UA line?
There's a report that is ran on Century. You can run a report and you can put the dates. And so from the date that we put him in and from current date, if we would like, it'll say call missed. And if it says yes, that means that he did not call in. So the only ones that are going to say no is the ones that are on the weekend because he's not required to. So the report that's provided on Century lets you know. And if he does call in, it will tell you exactly the time that he called in. It'll give you a time as well.
Does he have any instances where he did call in? That's my question.
He did not. He did not call in at all. If I can say that on one of my violation reports, I put that he did call in, but I was mistaken because that was a weekend and I read the report wrong. So as far as ever calling in, he did not. And even when in our office visit in April, I asked him why he hadn't called in and he just said he had a lot going on.
So you said that you asked him to report on the same day that he had his TAP evaluation, correct?
Yes, sir. I believe on that same day, he had a original appointment. And I might be, if I can look at my notes real quick, I believe he had an appointment on that day, just his regular report date. I believe it was that same day, but I can double check that real quick if you would like. Is that fine? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Let me look real quick. Mhm. No, it was on April the 11th. It wasn't the same day. His TAP appointment was April 9th, and then he was to come report to me on April the 11th.
Okay, so the violation that he missed his tap on the 11th is actually incorrect.
It's not the TAP. He missed his TAP on April the 9th.
Okay, well, that's what I
He
mean.
did miss his TAP on April the 9th. He didn't show to that appointment at 8 a.m. His TAP.
So he did not have a tap on the 11th.
No, ma'am. No, sir. Excuse me. He did not have a TAP on the 11th.
Okay, but he did show up to his reported meeting on the 11th.
He showed up 2 hours late. Yes, sir. And then I was actually leaving for the day, and he was instructed to come back April the 14th, in which he did.
Okay, so and he completed a BIP class, but not the one that he was supposed to take.
Yes,
Right.
sir. Yes, sir. He completed an online course.
Has he also completed a parenting class?
He did complete the parenting class after the first time he completed it. It was an incorrect class. And then when I told him that that wasn't what was approved, he did go back and do the correct class. Yes, sir.
So we have a probationer that seems to be able to comply with certain conditions, but is missing on some others.
Yes, sir.
Did you notice that maybe there was a possibility that there was some things that he was processing and understanding and other things that he wasn't?
No, sir. He understood everything the first visit. He was provided with all the handouts, which specifically told him exactly where he needed to go and call to take the classes. We also communicated via email, so he had it in his email as well. So I don't think there was any confusion on if he can complete this or not.
And where is he supposed to go to submit to the drug test?
He has two options. He could submit here at my office in Crestway, or he can go downtown to their main location. So he had two locations he can submit.
And it's your belief that he had that information?
Yes, sir. He had that information. That he's given a handout that has the addresses and the times.
And then on calling in, do you have records of him actually making some calls, just not all at once?
No calls at all.
Okay.
No calls. The record shows no calls at all.
Now, did you inform him that he had a motion to revoke that was filed against him?
I do inform them. That is our protocol. Yes, sir.
Are you aware that he tried to surrender himself to take care of that warrant in the courthouse?
I was not aware.
He hasn't been in contact with you since then?
He has not been in contact with me. No. When he was informed of it, he sent an email. He didn't acknowledge the email that he had a warrant. He just responded with he made a payment and he sent his class again. And then he had some other things in the email, but he never I hadn't had a face-to-face visit with him since I told him.
So, Ms. Parker, what is the impression or feeling that you have about Mr. Cummings as a probationer when you see him actively trying to submit information to you, actually complying with a condition or two, but then totally missing certain others, but then submitting himself to the court when he knows he's got a motion to revoke? There just seems to be a contradiction there. What do you think about that?
I believe that Mr. Cummings, it's some thinking errors there. I do believe, I don't know, I can't really answer why he's not following the directives given to him. But I believe he has the potential to follow him. I just don't understand why he didn't. So I don't really know how to answer that question, but it seems as though he did make an effort. But why he chose to go a different route, I don't know. He just told me what he did, what was convenient for him. He did question a lot of things as far as like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Which we answered that, but I do believe he has the potential to follow. It's just he just chose not to. But I do commend him for, turning himself in and taking care of what he needed to do. I do commend him for that. And to say that he didn't report, he never just not reported. It was just always a late route. So
All right.
I do believe he made the effort, but
No further questions from the state, Your Honor.
All right, I have one question, if there's no
ma'am.
objection.
yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Judge, I asked the one I forgot. And then,
All right, yes.
uh,
Maybe your question is my question.
can you let the court know, Ms. Parker, if he's made any payments towards his probation?
I can check for you right now, sir. He made one payment on April the 11th for $500.
All right, that's not the question I have. Any objections to my asking
No,
the
no,
question?
no, Judge.
Not from the state. Your
All
Honor.
right, so I have a question about his conditions of probation.
Yes,
I'm
Judge.
usually very technical. So I understand, I see that the state is saying that he attempted to purchase a handgun as one of his violations of probation. So the question I have is, part of his conditions is that he's not to attempt to purchase a handgun? Does anyone know?
I think it's, he can't possess one is what I've always thought the condition was.
1 second, Judge. I am going to pull that up right now. Okay, condition 12, Judge, says you shall not purchase, receive, possess, or transport any weapon, including but not limited to a club, explosive weapon, firearm, ammunition, illegal knife, martial arts weapon, brass knuckles, or chemical dispensing device during your term of community supervision.
So there's nothing there that says you're not allowed to attempt.
You shall not purchase.
All right,
That's the wording. You shall not purchase.
okay. All right, is there any other questions?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Any other questions?
Mayor.
All right, is this witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can be excused. Officer Parker, you can stay on to see what the court
Okay.
decision is going to be.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other witnesses?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Just Mr. Cummings.
All right, Mr. Cummins, if you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Marlon Doral Cummings.
All right, you may proceed.
So, Mr. Cummings, you are aware of and you understand the fact that you cannot possess weapons on probation, is that right?
Yes,
Did you in fact surrender some weapons when you got placed on probation?
yes.
And how many weapons did you have that you got rid of?
Well, for
And how did you dispose of them?
just took it to the marshal.
So you sold.
All of them. Yes, sir.
So you heard the gentleman from Academy testify. What was it you were trying to accomplish by that process at the Academy?
I had showed him my very county jail card just so that he could understand exactly that I just got out, and at the same time that I was trying to figure out exactly what's going on with my background. I've been in trouble over 15 years, and even beforehand, I had spoke to him. I told him that I had just left from the police station where I was trying to get that information, and that they had sent me to Nacalitos to see about my property. Cause I never knew what exactly was on in my property. At that point, they did a background check, and at that point, I got online at the DPS and used my driver's license and my CHL to try to figure out exactly what's going on. At that point, then I went to okay.
And you said CHO, you in the past have had a concealed handgun license, is that right?
Yes,
And but obviously couldn't use it during your term of probation.
exactly.
So in filling out all that paperwork, were you attempting to discern you were still disqualified? What was why was it that you did not understand what your status was?
I just wanted to just go through the process of just really just trying to understand exactly what was the holdup at the police station for my property, because they were saying that was going to take like 6 months to a year or something like that. So that's why, I was just trying to really get like up to date, because I felt like, I had property there that, I would like to see exactly what's there. They wasn't giving me that information.
Now, did you understand about the UA line having to call in and then if they say it's your day, you have to go get tested?
Yes, I was told that since I wasn't arrested for drugs, that I could just call. And at that point, if they felt that it was needed for me to take a drug test, I would take a drug test.
Did you understand Ms. Parker says you're not even calling in?
Yes,
Is it that you just slipped your mind, or you didn't really understand the instructions?
I was just new to like I was just new to probation and just having a whole lot going on and stuff like that, trying to place a roof over my head and stuff like that. You know.
And I suggested to the court that, in terms you're saying, you actually hired me to come and try to get you your bond set and all that business, is that right?
Yes.
And then on the day that I asked you to come so we can meet the judge and talk about that, they actually, you got ahead of me and went to the satellite booking office, and that's when they took you into custody.
Yes.
Okay, so that was an idea of you walking in the wrong room at the wrong time. But you were in the courthouse for the purpose of dealing with the warrant, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so are you asking the court today to reinstate you and give you a restart on your probation so you can comply?
I'm just looking for just for some help. Me being on probation and me being a homeowner and going through the situation and having a warrant for my arrest, you know, haven't been able to be at home. I'm just trying to keep my home because of a foreclosure like I have from going through a theft situation. Police reports have been provided already for that, but so by me, I'm just looking for help at this point.
That's what it's just.
State?
For the record, Your Honor. Mr. Cummings,
Yes.
do you recall entering your plea to this case back in February of this year?
Yes.
Do you recall the judge going over all the terms of your probation with you?
Yes.
Did you understand the affirmative finding that was entered to you?
Yes.
Did you understood that affirmative finding meant that you could not attempt to purchase a gun, weapons, anything like that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall meeting with Ms. Parker, your CSO?
Yes.
At that point, did she go over all the conditions with you as well?
Yes.
Did you ask her any questions?
Yes.
And what were those questions related to?
She gave me all the she gave me good answers and I understood.
So you understood all the terms of your probation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now you mentioned that you were wanting to determine the status of the background check, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you feel like there was any other place you could go to try and get that done other than Academy?
I went to the police station and I went to the to where the other police station have over there for not to. And I did it online. I did online too before going to Academy.
So you did those three things before going to Academy.
Yes.
So what was the need to go to Academy if you really gone through two law enforcement agencies and online?
They wasn't able to give me that information.
Okay, and you felt like Academy would give you the information you needed?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that it was a good idea to try and purchase a gun while you're on probation?
I wasn't trying to purchase.
Did you, well, if you weren't trying to purchase it, did you handle that gun while you were there?
If you were to see the video, I told them like I'm fine. I didn't really recall it and really touch it. So if I did touch it, I'm for sure video you can see me go. Yeah, okay, right. Cause I didn't really touch it.
Okay, so you never held the gun in your hand at all?
I really don't recall. I don't recall just.
Well, let me ask you this. What you don't recall, do you recall going the first day that the Mr. Cooney testified to?
Well, the thing about that, I was trying to remember. So, I filled the form out 2 times. I thought you said it was 1 time. I thought you said the first time I just showed him my Fair County license and I didn't have my ID and stuff like that, which I did. Y'all gave it to me when I got.
Well, let me ask you this. You do recall going there on 2 separate occasions, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, I'll pass it.
Any other questions? Any other questions?
I think that was it, Judge.
All right. The court will hear argument, and before I hear argument, this is what clarification needs to be given to the court. I think it's clear that violations of conditions 2, 21, and 22 are true. Now, I'm taking in consideration, of course, the fact that with regards to the BIP, he took a different BIP, he turned that in. So I'm weighing that, but it is true that he didn't take the BIP course that was required of him. What I'm saying is not true is number 23, the failure to attend the TAP evaluation, because the witness testified that the date for that is not the correct date. Number 26, that was waived by the state defense. I forgot to ask you, with regard to that, do you have any objections to the state's waiver of number 26?
I do not, Judge.
All right, so this is what the court's issue is, the one that's the quandary. The attempt to purchase of a weapon. Based upon the evidence that I've heard, he attempted to purchase a weapon. We can say he was in there to see, oh, let me see if I would qualify to get a weapon. But I think regardless of whether he was going in, whatever his purpose was, it was still an attempt at purchase. So the question becomes whether or not attempting to purchase a weapon is a violation of his probation. And to determine that, there needs to be an express condition that says he's not allowed to attempt to purchase a weapon. Now, if it were to be a new number 1, attempt to purchase a weapon or something of that nature, then it would be an easy decision for the court. But it's not listed as a new number 1. It's just listed that he attempted to purchase a weapon. So if you all can hone in, and maybe the witness has some more information on whether or not it expressly states in his conditions of probation that he is not allowed to attempt to purchase a weapon. That's what I need to know. I believe the witness testified that that's not a part of his conditions of probation. What she read to the court is he's not to possess a weapon. She named certain weapons he can't possess, the brass knuckles, the firearm, but I didn't hear anything about an attempt to purchase.
And Your Honor,
And I'll hear that.
I'll speak to that.
Yes.
So the condition specifically states the defendant is not allowed to purchase a handgun. To complete that purchase, he would have to pass the background check, which he can't do because he's on probation. And so I believe that is why it's listed as attempt to purchase. He would never legally be allowed to purchase the weapon, but they do prevent him from doing that.
Some places they do let people purchase a weapon even though they're not supposed to. I understand what the state is saying, but conditions of probation need to reflect that, because everybody's going on what the terms that are in the conditions of probation. Does he know that he's not supposed to attempt to purchase a weapon? Yes, but we're dealing with what the conditions are in his conditions of probation, because that's a contract.
And Your Honor, if you would like, I can ask the witness some follow-up questions. To see if
Sure.
she has anything.
I mean, because I think that's one major point for all of this. And I think that's why everybody has red flags, because there's an attempt here to purchase a weapon. But yes, if you would like any objections to reopening for more information from the officer.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Parker, you're still under oath?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Parker, were you hearing the judge's concerns just now?
I do hear her concerns, yes. It does read, you shall not purchase, receive, possess, or transport. The condition does not say you should not attempt. That's correct. But I also agree that because he didn't purchase, because the background check didn't go through, that's probably why, I assume that's why it wasn't purchased. But the conditions does not say he cannot attempt.
And that would be just the state's argument to that condition, Your Honor.
Judge, there's always a possibility that they said, yes, you can buy it. He said, I don't really want it. Now I know that I can. Maybe I'll do it some other day. He could have just walked away from it.
Well, I think this is a situation where maybe the conditions of probation need to be reworked to put in there that you cannot attempt to purchase or possess these other things. Because
And Your Honor, I will also speak to the violation of condition number 23. I know that Ms. Parker testified it was on April 9th, not April 11th. However, that is why we have the honor about language on there.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I misspoke. I said April 9th. His TAP appointment was Friday, April 11th. I misspoke on the date. I apologize. I misspoke on that date. His TAP was Friday, April 11th at 8 a.m. and he did not show on that date.
All right,
I did
there's a
misspeak.
correction for the court then.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
Violation, this is what the court is finding true. The court is finding violation of condition number 2, which states that he didn't take his drug test. The court is finding that is true. Court is finding violation of condition number 21, that he did not enroll in the BIPP course as true. The court does understand that he took a different course that was not the intensive course that the BIPP is, and the court ordered the BIPP course. The court is finding violation of condition number 22, not calling the UA hotline. The court is finding that true. The court is finding violations of condition number 23 true. That's the TAP evaluation. The court is finding violation of condition number 12, not true. The attempt to purchase a handgun. The court does find that he attempted to purchase a handgun, but the court is finding that that was not a violation of his conditions of probation, because that was not one of the conditions of probation. The court is finding number 26, the state waived, so the court is not ruling on that. Any questions about the court's findings?
No, Your Honor.
Just argument on punishment. Your Honor.
All right, and then so that the record can be clear, according to the judgment, the defendant is on deferred adjudication for assault causing bodily injury family as a Class A misdemeanor. Both parties had no objection to the state amending the defendant's motion to revoke to read that the defendant was placed on deferred adjudication for assault causing bodily injury family on February 4th, 2025 for 2 years. All right, the court will hear argument.
Yes. So given that this defendant has been on probation, he was put on probation on February 4th of 2025, pretty immediately as the court has found true on multiple violations, the defendant has not done what he was supposed to do on probation. He has instead done, as Ms. Parker stated, what's convenient for him. It was not convenient for him to do the TAP evaluation because he did not want to submit any UAs as he did on March 19th. And as he never called in to do the random UA hotline to see if he was required to submit to any drug testing. Additionally, he did not do the BIP and the BIP class. He did the BIP class that was most convenient for him, which is 20 hours. That's vastly different than the 4 to 5 month long in-person BIP course that is required by the court. Additionally, Your Honor, I do understand that the court did not find a violation of condition number 12 true. However, the court did find that the defendant did attempt to purchase a firearm, and that is concerning given the type of offense that this defendant is on probation for. That is a huge red flag to the state, Your Honor. I understand that the defendant is saying that he went in there to get a background check. If that's the case, he said he filled out the form twice in his testimony. So on that first visit, that could have been, his denial, but he went back a second time. And the only reason for going back a second time, Your Honor, and handling that weapon a second time and knowing exactly what kind of gun he wanted to purchase for the second time was so that he could buy that firearm. And that is a danger that is directly against the affirmative finding of family violence. And that presents himself to be a danger to this community and not only to the complainant as well. And so for that, Your Honor, given the red flags that this defendant has posed while he has been on probation for the 2 months that he was on probation before this motion to revoke probation came out, the state is asking that he be terminated and sentenced to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail.
Right, defense?
Judge, it's totally understandable why people will say there's red flags, but the real issue is what's behind all that. Is this a case where we really need to be concerned, Or is it just on its face appear to be dangerous? Because we have conflicting evidence in this case. He's only been on probation 2 months, March and April, well, 3, May. And he did the wrong BIP class, but he did a BIP class. He did the parenting class, which was the correct class. He did go to his orientation. He's just reporting as he's supposed to. When he found out he had the MTR, he responded to the probation and said, "This is what I've done." And then he got with me to try to resolve the MTR. So he's not doing it perfectly. I would disagree with that. When he went the first time, he never got an answer about whether he qualified or not. They just didn't run him. They didn't run him until the second time. Then he found out he couldn't, and he didn't. And that was the end of it. And good question by counsel. Why didn't you get that information somewhere else? Because they wouldn't give it to him. He went to actually 3 other places. And the place on Navalitas where he's talking about is actually the property room, which they don't have that information, but it is the San Antonio Police Department office that deals with property. So he wasn't that far off. So he's a little bit off in how he's handling it, but he's trying to handle it. I think we now understand Mr. Cooney's testimony about maybe there seems to be a lack of a meeting of the minds. And what we attribute that to, I'm not sure. But he's now been in jail on a Class A misdemeanor over 60 days. He hasn't complained about it. He's been to court. He's trying to handle it. The recommendation from the probation was to put him on intensive supervision. If he wants to continue and not serve out the rest of his sentence, I would join in that recommendation. I've asked him. I think he wants to get back to his home and his personal belongings and things that he needs to be taken care of because he's about to lose them by being in jail too long.
All right. Probation, what is your recommendation?
Judge, our recommendation is ISP intensive supervision. We feel, reason being we didn't go with revocation, we just feel that he needs a more structured environment as far as field visits, curfew, so more intense supervision. So our recommendation was ISP.
All right. So this is what the court's thinking is. State, I do understand your concern. However, I think everyone knows the rules at the Bexar County Jail. If I were to sentence him to 365 days at the Bexar County Jail, which is the maximum, at the jail, you receive 2 for 1, 3 for 1. He will be soon released. Defense counsel says he already has 60 days. So depending on what is happening at the Bexar County Jail, either he's going to get credit for just 60 days, or either they're going to give him credit for 120 days or 180 days. There's overcrowding at the jail. I think in this case, one, probation will probably now tighten up their conditions of probation to include do not attempt to purchase weapons. Mr. Martinez, that's one of those cases where you maybe win an appeal, but then the defense bar is upset because now things have changed. I could do one or two things, and I'm going to leave the choice up to you. I can continue you, but I'm going to put you on GPS. That's how I'm going to tighten it up for you. He will be allowed to work, but that's it. And then if he proves to the court that he's able to abide by the conditions, then the next step the court will have is the court will then allow him to still be on GPS, but there'll be a curfew. And then the next step will be tracking. Then the next step will be removal. That's your choice. You can either do that, but you're going to be on GPS if I continue you, or either I will send you to the Bexar County Jail, and I'm taking into consideration the fact that you were sort of doing your own thing. So I will sentence you to 360 days at the Bexar County Jail. So those are your two choices. You can either do 360 days at the Bexar County Jail, or either you can do GPS. And let me just tell you what I'm going to do. If you choose to continue on probation, I'm going to do GPS, and I am going to do a 30-day jail sanction. And I'm going to give you credit for the time that you've been in custody. So if you're ever sentenced or revoked on this probation, you won't have 60 days. You only have 30 days. So which do you prefer? You want to speak to your attorney?
Judge, clarification for me. GPS for the duration?
Until further notice.
He's fine with the GPS.
All right. So this is what the court is going to do then. And is there any other conditions, state that you would like?
Just see. Or attempting to purchase a firearm, Your Honor.
All right.
And then, of course, just all the other remaining conditions to be kept in place.
All right. This is the court. The court would deny the motion, alter the main conditions to no attempting to buy any weapon. So that means brass knuckles. That means everything that is on their list. Do you understand?
Yes.
No attempting to purchase or obtain any weapon. GPS waive fees. He's at the Bexar County Jail, so it'll be easy for them to do it there. And there's going to be a GPS until further notice. And there'll be partial GPS for employment and for any conditions of probation. So if you have to report and you're on GPS, then you can go report. If you have to take your BIP class, then you can go take your BIP class. But here's the thing, when you're on GPS and it's for work or for you to go to probation, you cannot stop at Burger King, HEB, or any of these places, even if it's on the route, because it's going to show up as a violation. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, so partial GPS for employment, and I'm just going to say fulfillment of probation conditions. And all other conditions are still in place. Probation, is there anything else that he needs?
Does he need to retake the BIP course?
Yes. You're going to take the BPI course that the court requires you to take. You understand?
Yes.
And Your Honor, does he need to do the TAP evaluation as well? Would that be done in investigator audit this week?
TAP evaluation is usually 2 weeks. We can do the TAP evaluation out of custody. If you miss that TAP evaluation, what's going to end up happening is they're going to file a motion to revoke. Do you understand?
Yes.
Probation, is there anything else? Is there
No,
anything-
Judge. No,
Thank
Judge,
you.
that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
I just wanted to say, thank you for taking the time just to, I guess.
You're welcome. Do you understand everything? So if you have a question, next time you have a question about something, ask your probation officer. And if they don't answer it, you could have came here to the 187th and said, Judge, I want to know if I can purchase a gun, or if I try to purchase a gun, what will happen? And I would have told you a motion to revoke is going to be filed and nobody should be allowing you to purchase a weapon. That's why I'm here. All right. Okay. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stick around longer and click the highlighted videos to your right. See you there.